Hey guys, welcome back to Auto Repair guys. Thank you guys for watching and subscribing. Today will be a little bit of a dumb video, okay? So disclaimer, it will be stupid video, but let me explain what we'll be doing here. This engine guys, okay, through a rod bearing, okay, the connecting rod broke. Okay, so if you have an engine that broke connecting rod, it's locked up because of a connecting rod. It's hydro-locked engine, it bent the connecting rod. We'll explain the cheapest way to fix your engine guys, okay? And what we'll be doing here, it's a 4-cylinder engine, we'll make it run on 3. It's possible guys, okay, it's possible, but we'll explain what you need to do to actually prevent oil from coming out of the exhaust, and we'll explain what else you need to do, disconnecting fuel injectors and all that stuff. It is not recommended to do it, never drive your car that way, but we're going to do an experimental thing today to see if we can start it on 3 cylinders, but not like usually 3 cylinders where you disconnect the ignition coil or bad fuel injector, but it should be way more balanced, okay, because we will eliminate one of the pistons, and that way, okay, it will be a way more balanced engine. It will not be losing as much power as losing one cylinder when you remove ignition coil or fuel injector, and we'll see if it actually starts. So make sure to stay until the end, you'll be surprised. So let me tell you the story about this one. If you guys need to buy any parts to use for a good price and quick shipping for your car, check out the link in the description of the video below. That engine guys, okay, the connecting rod is in 2 different pieces. A piece fell actually, okay, and it broke the connecting rod on cylinder number 2 as well, but it's still good. What caused that stuff now? It threw a rod bearing guys. You can see the crankshaft is done on the first piston, and through the rod bearing. Okay, let me see where the rod bearing went. Okay, right there. From there it got locked up, okay, broke the connecting rod. The engine was locked up to where you couldn't turn it over again at all, because there was pieces stuck on cylinder number 2. From cylinder number 1 actually got to cylinder number 2 and it broke the connecting rod. So how we're going to fix it? Okay, now we cannot just not install the connecting rod and the piston, because you have an open hole where you'll be spraying oil directly in the exhaust. It will be smoking like crazy, it will be terrible. So we need to put the piston inside, but we're going to put it inside to where guys, okay, it cannot go up and down, it will not be connecting to the crankshaft. That way it will keep vacuum in the engine, and also it will not spray oil everywhere. Another thing, later we need to disconnect fuel injectors, we'll talk about that in a little bit. And if you think about it now guys, okay, something else that we need to do, you need to ensure that that piston, if you just put it in, it will fall and hit the crankshaft and it will lock up the engine. We cannot put connecting rod because the crankshaft is done at that point. And we're going to go ahead, okay, and actually weld a dot on the cylinder wall, okay, that way, okay, the piston will not go down, okay, as much as it needs to. So let's go ahead, do that. Something that you should never ever do. Okay, that engine block is done. Never do that to a good engine block, because you can rebuild it. Our engine block is done guys. Okay, it's cracked on one side, so it's not internally cracked where it's leaking coolant or oil, but it's done. So yeah, that looks good. Let me see, okay, if that's pretty strong. It looks like it is. Okay, that's how we do it. Now let me go ahead, okay, we're going to go ahead, install the rings, and probably should get a little bit of engine oil as well, because we need to install that piston. Okay, let's see if we can do that. I want to put the rings, that way it will not spray oil everywhere as well. It will keep vacuum in the engine, so it can perform. We're doing that only so we can move the car around, okay, because we'll be using it as a donor vehicle, but we actually don't want guys, okay, don't want, okay, to push it around. So what we're going to do, okay, let me see where the oil ring is. Okay, okay, oil ring is in. Now there is a special tool that you can use for the pistons. Ah, come on, I got it out. for the piston rings. That makes your life much easier, and we have it, but I don't need to get it out because this is just a parts piston. It's completely destroyed, so I don't need to worry about this one. Now let me install the big compression ring here. Okay, let me see if I get it in. Okay, I'll go ahead. Okay, do that and we'll continue with the next step. So we install the second ring. Okay, let's push it in to where it's not going to hit the valves too, right? Okay, let's see where it's gonna stop now. That's it, it stops right there. That's perfect. It doesn't go as much as the other ones. Now we're going to go ahead, weld it on top too. Why? So it doesn't come up and hit the valves. So let's just do a couple of dots so it doesn't go anywhere. All right. And we need to clean to make sure that nothing gets in the valves. Okay, so perfect. Let's go ahead, okay, and continue with the next step. So let's explain what we did now. We installed the piston on cylinder number 2. Cylinder number 1 is where the problem is. We welded it, as you can see. So let's go ahead, okay, and see if we turn it now. Okay, check it out. We'll turn the engine, 3 pistons work, 1 stays stationary. So that way we'll not be having any compression here as well, because if your spark plug doesn't work, ignition coil or fuel injector, what happens? That cylinder has quite a bit of compression, so actually it's working against the other 3, but now this one, it's like it's gone. It will be almost like a 3-cylinder engine, okay, with a little bit heavier crankshaft, and it will create more vibrations probably. So let's see how it's going to work. So that piston that we welded, we put the engine in the engine bay. We're putting new oil filter. The old oil filter is covered inside. I mean, it's clogged up all the way with metal shavings from the rod bearing that failed, guys, so we need to replace that one. We're going to put oil. Now probably we'll get a little bit of criticizing. This is actually the oil I got out of my BMW, guys. Okay, just changed the oil the other day, so old oil will go in that engine at first, just for demonstrational purposes. So let's go ahead, okay, and see when we add the oil if that engine will fire up. Something that hasn't been driven for the last close to 4 years. So let's go ahead, add the oil, and then we'll continue. So we connected the battery. Now the moment of the truth, we don't have coolant yet, so if we start it, we'll start it for a short period of time, and then we're going to go ahead, add coolant, get it out and see how it runs and if it will be able to run on 3 cylinders. So let's go ahead and try to fire it right up. Okay, it looks like it's clicking, and okay, we're not. Okay, let me hear again. Something's clicking, but we're not firing it up. So let me check still the battery to make sure we have good contact as well. So we found what the problem is. Check this thing out, guys. Okay, that wire now, that's the signal wire going from the ignition switch to the engine starter is a signal wire. So I'm going to go ahead and reconnect it. Give me just 1 minute here. Okay, not yet. Okay, I'm trying to, come on. Okay, perfect. That's a signal wire for the starter, because we tested 12 volt didn't go to the signal wire, so that's what we forgot when we put the engine. Let's go ahead, see if it's going to crank. Okay, stop. Now we need to turn the ignition switch on and off a few times, because there will be a lot of air in the fuel system, and that direct fuel injection needs some time to bleed. Let's go ahead, do that. Okay, let's turn it off. Let's try again. Let's turn it off. Okay, we need to make sure that we don't melt the starter. Okay, soon it's going to start. Okay, I can hear it. Let's go ahead and hear it. Okay, it's coming, it's getting gas. Almost there, come on, start it on 3 cylinders. Right there, vibrating a little bit, but running. Let's go ahead, turn it off. Turn it off now. Let's start it again and see if it will be easier this time. Yep. So let's continue with the next test and see if it's going to run. So everything's put together, guys. Okay, now right here, okay, that's the same car. Okay, same engine, 3 cylinders. So we have the counterbalance shaft on the bottom that will make the engine a little bit unstable. Let's see now if it runs and drives. So it does run and drive, guys. Okay, it's not so stable. It turns off once in a while. If I can have a chance to program the RPMs to stay above 1200 RPMs, it will work. But it's just for moving it around. I'll never drive it that way, and I will never recommend to do anything stupid like that, like what we did. We just did it that way so we can move it around, okay, and stay in the salvage yard, so we don't need to push that thing anymore. But I think the rod bearing on cylinder number 2, on connecting rod number 2, is going out as well. I heard a knock, and it was pretty worn. Okay, when we removed it, when the engine was taken apart. So I definitely think that this engine is practically done. It was done before, but at least we can move it around and we don't have to push it, right? So hopefully the video will be helpful. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and see you guys next time.